These are such sessions where together we are every day engaging into one way or the other which will help us in transforming our life. As for me, I'm a transformation coach. I'm a tarot reader, a numerologist, and a DNA astrologer. And I have an extensive experience in all of this since about 10 to 11 years, depending upon which one you're speaking about. In fact, going by the time that we are going through these days, where a lot of us might be wanting to like we have suddenly been given a lot of time and we are wondering what to do. So this is an initiative, 21 Day, 21 Ways to Transform Our Life, free of cost live sessions, which is one that I'm presenting to you all. And apart from that, where I do understand that in these sensitive times, also times of insecurity, there might be a few questions which might be brimming up in your mind. And for that, I am currently offering 35% discount on all my consultations, tarot, numerology, as well as DNA astrology. If you want to book any of those, you can get in touch with me on the details which are mentioned below, or you can DM me. Plus, there are personalized 21-day workshops which I offer. And then there are WhatsApp workshops also based on various topics. You can contact me for that too. So, today is the day 8, way 8. For this, I have a story. And as far as this subject is concerned, it had to be a real life story. Something which was based on now and not on something which had happened a long time back in terms of mythological or historic stories. So this is a story which is based in this particular land. Now this was a place where things were going a little up and down. There were these gang of kids. These were all 8, 10 years old, not more than that. And each one belonged to the street. They had no family. So what happened was each one was trying to have a one up on the other, trying to show to each other that how cool they are and how much they don't care about everything around them, how insensitive they are and how emotionless they are. As this was their motivation, one of the kids, just to show to their gang members, killed another innocent kid. Now this other innocent kid wouldn't have been more than 5 or 6 years old. And this, my friends, is a real life story based somewhere in the US. Now this kid who was killed just because this 8-year-old kid had to show something or prove something to the gang members, his mother was so upset, as it is natural for any mother, for any parent, to howl, to cry, and to feel what she was feeling. In fact, this 8-year-old kid was arrested by the police, and there was an entire case against him. Being a juvenile, he was imprisoned for 8 years. That's it, 8 years of jail. And in comparison to that, the mother had lost a 5-year-old kid. To what? To really nothing, just so that this other kid could show to his gang members that he was cool and that he was ready to be a part of the gang. Now, while this 8-year-old kid was being taken by the police, this mother stands up, and as she was really upset, she says, "I am gonna kill you." This kid goes away. Now this kid, 8-year-old, is spending his time in the jail. First of all, his entire future is now lost. Anyways, he was a kid of the, of the roads. There was nothing really that he had going for him. This mother visited him in the jail, asked him, "How are you doing?" He told whatever he had to. And the mother said that, "What do you need? What do you need while you're here in the jail?" The kid would say, and then the mother will try and arrange it alongside the patrol officer. Now this mother would visit this guy, this kid, 8-year-old kid, every 2 to 3 months. This 8-year-old kid, by the way, had no one else visiting him in this particular time because he had no family. Now, as far as this kid is concerned, plus 10 years. And this kid was now 18 years of age. The mother is visiting the kid. She asks him that, how have you been? The kid says that, I've been managing fine. She asks, what will you do once you're out of the jail? He says, I don't know. I have no family. I have nowhere to go. I really don't know what I will do. She says, I have a friend who has a factory. And if you are okay, I can speak to him and I can get you a job in that factory. The kid was thrilled. He was like, okay, fine. In fact, he was confused that it's just her, this mother whose kid he has killed, who had been visiting her all this while. So this guy was thrilled. She asks, where will you stay? He says, I don't know. I have nowhere to stay. Anyways, before all of this also, I was a boy of the streets. I was staying from one house to the other, really having no roof over me. So she says, I have a spare room. If you want, you can stay with me. He was once again thrilled and surprised. He said, yes, I will stay with you. So this is the arrangement that they have. As soon as this kid who was no more a kid now, he was 18 years old, he comes out of the jail. He goes and stays with this mother whose child he had killed, and he helps her around in the household chores, and he starts doing job at this factory also. 6 months have passed. The mother comes to him. She says, hey, John, that was his name. I want to speak with you. Can you come and sit with me in the living room? He said, fine. They're sitting in the living room. The mother says, John, do you remember that day when you were being jailed? I said, I will kill you. He said, yeah, I know. You said so. She said, and I did. I did kill the boy. That 8-year-old boy whom I had found at that time, who had killed my son. You're not the same person anymore. You're not the same guy anymore. You don't have the same emotions anymore. I have killed whom I had said I will kill. This boy is so overwhelmed and understands what the mother means and gives her a hug. The mother further says, you also don't have anybody and I have nobody as well. Can I adopt you? My son has gone, he's not going to come back. But if there is one life that I could have changed, I tried to do that. So if you're okay, can you be my son? They hug each other, and they do actually, in reality, live happily ever after. So what do you understand by this entire story, which, by the way, is a real story? It actually happened somewhere. If you want, you can go and Google about it also. The day 8, way 8, my friends, is forgiveness. It was important for me to pick up a real story for this element, which is very tough for all of us to understand and accept in our life. Forgiveness also doesn't have to be something which you have to immediately get onto. After all, in this story also, in this real life scenario also, this mother, she took her time of 1 or 2 months before she approached this guy in the jail, this kid in the jail. But had she not forgiven, one life had already gone, and this other life was anyways on the path of doom. This other boy wouldn't have been able to save as well. But when it comes to our own scenarios, there is a lot of resentment, and we feel that this person has done so much bad to us. How can we find it in ourselves to forgive this person? Forgiveness is not a matter of immediately getting into ho'oponopono or just reciting, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. Forgiveness is about a deeper understanding. It is also about honoring your own emotions in the given point. Even though people try and make it sound simple, but it can be sometimes a very complicated subject when it comes to transformation in life. There is a much bigger understanding when it comes to forgiveness, and there are various steps to it. There is an understanding that we need to have with ourselves and our emotions, where we have to ensure that we are not suppressing our emotions, that we are channelizing them well. And forgiveness for sure doesn't mean that what the other person did was acceptable and it is okay what the other person did. But forgiveness is a lot about looking at the bigger picture and seeing where does the self-hampering or self-loathing in this stop. Where is it that we are creating our own healthy boundaries in our head, saying that if I forgive this person, I am basically cutting that cord which is still being maintained between me and that person because of that ongoing energy of resentment. Is it easy? Not at all. After all, for this mother also, whose young child was killed, it would have definitely not been easy. And I don't mean that if the child was any older, it would have been easy. It is not easy. Forgiveness is not easy. But forgiveness creates a sense of willpower and also a sense of boundaries. Up till what level is acceptable to me, after which you can go your way, I can go my way, but I will not hold the resentment that I used to, because that is hampering more than you. It is hampering me. Because even though you might not be thinking about it all the time, but I am. And that is, psychologically speaking, or let's say technically speaking, that is creating such neuropathways in my brain which are releasing those hormones which are in fact putting me on the path of anxiety, fear, and depression. And also creating an element of victimhood around me, that you did something wrong to me and I allowed you to do it, and how could you? Forgiveness is about taking your power back and telling this person, either energetically or physically, that whatever you did, but it stops here. I forgive you for what you did. Now you go your way, I go my way. Energetically, you can cut cords with this person. And there are many other ways also. In fact, understanding that how complicated forgiveness can be, I have a forgiveness workshop, a WhatsApp workshop. It is not very costly. In case you want to enroll in that, you can. And I will handhold you through this process of forgiveness. How is it in fact that forgiveness will help you? It will help you in now giving no energy to that neuropathway in your brain which tells you that something wrong happened. Oh, do you remember? You remember that memory? You remember that time when something wrong happened? That person did this thing to you. You were wrong. Do you remember? You were a victim. But when you forgive that person, basically you are cutting the energy to that neuropathway and trying to live a life which is that of empowerment, that I forgive. I am the bigger person. I forgive. But forgiveness is not just about being a bigger person. It is about understanding. It is about, a lot of times, a lot of self-forgiveness is also required. So there's a process to it. But it is important because we are on a stage. We are in we have committed to our self-transformation. And we cannot transform by keeping the baggage of our past still on our shoulders. Forgiveness is like removing that baggage from our shoulder and living a life of freedom. And in fact, being a lot lighter than we were earlier. I hope the message of the day 8 and way 8 is making sense to you all. Of course, if you have any query, you can write in the comment section below and join me every evening, 7:30 p.m. India Standard Time, on Instagram handle Nehaa Goyal, for the 21 ways and 21 days to transform your life. Tomorrow, I will be covering day 9, way 9. Namaskar, Radhe.